Hi, and welcome back to Taking Funnel Hacking by Storm. In this episode, we are going to continue our discussion of how 97 entrepreneurs just like you each created their own seven-figure business online and how you're literally just one funnel away from your own seven-figure success story. So the topic today, we are going to talk about ad copy. Many times I will have my clients say to me, Bill, Facebook and Instagram, they're just not working for me. I'm not getting the result that I want from them. And based on that statement, the first thing that I do is I go and I take a look at what their ad copy looks like in their ads, and I take a look at what kind of posts they're putting online, and the answer becomes very self-evident. Now, it's obviously not self-evident to them, but basically what they're doing is they're using what I call standard copy. Standard copy, that's basically telling of facts. There's nothing engaging about it. So if it's not engaging, right, it doesn't hook the person to listen to your story. You're not able to get your message across. And basically all you have is a standard magazine ad or like a billboard type of an ad. And in that case, well, of course, no wonder you're not getting the result that you want. So instead, what we're going to talk about is how to set up your ad using picture copy. So picture copy is basically painting the picture of someone into a story, right? So I want you to remember this little buzz phrase: facts tell, right? So standard copy are the facts, but stories sell. Facts tell, but stories sell. So more likely than not, if you're not having good luck with Facebook or Instagram or any kind of social media, it's because you're just spitting out facts and you're not telling a story or painting that person into the story. Okay, so three things we're going to cover. Number one is why your current copy is costing you money and how to fix it in just a few minutes. That's number one. Number two is how to take your boring ad copy and paint an exciting picture so that your prospects can't help but read every word. And then number three, how to structure your copy to make the reader beg for more so that they actually take the next step, which is the whole point, isn't it? Of course. All right, so let me do this. In order to give you a good example of this, what I want to do is I want to share my actual story of how I became self-employed. First, I'm going to start out with the facts, right? I'm just going to give you the standard copy. So imagine if I put an ad on Facebook, and this is what I put. I put a picture of myself, and the wording says, I have been married just shy of 3 years. That's a fact. My wife was pregnant with our first child. Fact number two. And then number three, I just got fired from my job and had no other source of income, so I knew I had to do something fast. Okay? Now, I'm used to telling stories, so there's even a little bit of a little glimmer of a story in there. But basically, I just gave facts. What do you know about me at this point? You know that I was married for about 3 years. My wife was pregnant, about to have our first child. I got fired, and I didn't have any more money. Okay, that was the fact. But now what I want to do is I want to tell the story a little bit differently. And I wrote this down, and I can, when I'm actually freestyle talking about this, I can expand on this talking a lot more. But here's what I want you to feel. Okay, so now I want you to imagine that if you saw this on social media, right? The whole point of social media is to put something of value that's going to catch somebody's attention and it's going to be engaging, right? And I want people to share it and comment on it and post or share it and like it and create some sort of emotion with it. All right. So the story goes something more like this. This would be painting a picture. I could feel my heart beating so fast that I thought it was going to pop out of my chest. What had I just done? Just minutes before, I had told my boss to basically go F himself, okay? And literally forced him to fire me. I just couldn't stand it anymore. Just the sight of him made my blood boil. My manager's name was Mark, and he was a micromanager. Just drove me absolutely crazy. It didn't matter that I exceeded my sales goal every month. It didn't matter that I produced twice the results of everybody else. All he cared about is that I fell in line and did as he said, right? Just like everybody else. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm just not cut out for that, okay? But he thought he was so smart, right? And with a nervous grin on his face, he said, Bill, I'm writing you up for insubordination. I can hear him saying it. I'm writing you up for insubordination, right? And suggest that you quit before I have to send this up the ladder. And of course, back then, I was 27 years old at the time, and honestly, I had a little bit of a hot temper. And all I could think to myself is, ooh, big deal. You're going to send me up the ladder? What's that going to do, right? So by now, I was literally in a fit of rage and could basically give a shit. So I told him that if he wanted me gone, then he'd have to fire me. And again, at 27 years old, I just didn't have the self-control that I have now at 48. Needless to say, he proceeded to send me into the regional manager's office before things got physical. He could see I was getting hot. My face was turning red. I was leaning forward into his desk, and just one wrong thing, and I probably would have grabbed him by the throat, right? So within about 15 minutes, needless to say, anyway, he proceeded to send me in to see the regional manager before things got out of control, right? And within about 15 minutes, I was let go. That's a nice way to basically say that I was canned, all right? So as I walked out to the car, all of a sudden it hit me. What the F were you thinking, Bill? My wife's not working and is 1 month away from having a baby, right? So you can imagine, as I drove home, I wondered what in the heck I was going to tell my wife, Shelly. What was I going to say that would be acceptable or make any sense at all? We had no other source of income, so I knew I needed to come up with a solution before I got home. All right, so you can see the difference. Now, this is a true story, okay? So now you know a little bit more about me, and thankfully, that situation was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. Because 21 years later, right, I'm still self-employed and my income has continued to grow. And it's because I knew, right, in my soul that I wasn't meant to be managed by somebody. I had more in me and I really needed to go through. I needed to hit rock bottom. I needed to have that pressure and that pain in order to get me into action, to have the courage to actually do it, okay? So maybe not the best approach to do it, but it worked for me. But what I'm saying is when you post things like that, if you're running your ad copy, you want to make it almost like a scene from a movie where the person that is reading it or they're listening to it, you're engaging with that person and you're making them feel that emotion almost as if they were in the room with you. I mean, that's really what we're looking to do. And every time I run a post like that or every time I run an ad like that, I get tons and tons of activity. I get likes and shares. And it gives in comments, and it gives me an opportunity to engage with people and start in conversation. And guess what else it does? People start to see me or start to follow me that can identify with me. I'm literally calling out my customer avatar, my ideal person that can relate to who I am and what I'm all about. And they've probably gone through a similar situation. And now those people take the next step and want to do business with me. So if you're struggling with Facebook or Instagram or any kind of social media platform, I'm going to suggest to you that you take a look at what you have been posting. And if it is a fact, right? If you're just spitting out facts, black and white facts, that is probably the reason why you're having such a hard time. And I want you to consciously make an effort to every day start to tell a story with pictures. Paint your prospect into the picture so they can feel that emotion and they start to engage with you. And I promise you, you will start to see the kind of results that you're looking for. Remember that facts tell and stories sell.